Welcome back to the second episode of the Captain of Industry Beginner's Guide. I am your host, Frontrunner, and as we will continue on through the early stages of this game, a couple things I want to clarify from the previous episode. May have misunderstood that the research center would have to be demolished and rebuilt to upgrade it. That's not true. You can upgrade it from this existing structure. There'll be an option down here that'll show up when it's available to be upgraded. What I was indicating was the last time I played through the game, I just placed it wherever, and it was in a position where there wasn't room to upgrade it. So I was saying planning ahead and place it somewhere a little off to the side so that you will have room around it when it comes time to upgrade. Alright, now let's take a look over here at our blast furnace that we need to finish building the setup for. As we can see that the coal maker is working very well. And the blast furnace is full on coal. The little percentage there, or the little number in the parentheses there, tells you how much you have in storage, and the big number is how much it needs to complete one process. Need to build some molten channels and a metal caster. So let's start with the metal caster. It'll go up here. As you can see, because we've selected the metal caster, it shows you, hey, this is your molten metal output. And so you're going to want it on this end of the building. Alright, so we'll put her right about there. Oopsie. Try that again. Put her right about there. Alright, and as usual, the trucks are going to come and do their thing. As you can see, two of them, if not three. Nope, just the two. We're going to take off and go get supplies for it. And we're going to now build the molten channel to move that molten iron to the metal caster. I'm going to start there, and we'll go there again. Because you can see the two connected plugs, that means you have a good connection. So go ahead and click that. And there goes the next truck to go collect supplies for that. While these structures get built, let's take a look at this tutorial that popped up. Waste and dumping. So this is about handling the waste that is created by the settlement. As you can see here, we have our waste collector, and as you can see, it has outputs for waste, so that way you could set up conveyor lines in the future to a longer-term storage. For now, the waste is fine, so we don't need to worry too much about getting that emptied out quickly. Let's check on our tree harvester and see how he's doing. Alright, they're doing good over there. Let's see what we have selected. Alright. We're going to want to move the settlement. It's better to move the settlement earlier than later to somewhere just up where there's not a lot of resources or where it's going to be too close to the shipyard, because this will become a very big industrial hive right up here, especially with its proximity to the shipyard. So let's look at our layers. As you can see here, there's not much over here, so this would be a perfect area to build our settlement, plus we're right next to a groundwater supply, so that's what we're going to build. So we click to drag and select the trees we want the tree harvester to remove to make room for it. Alright, we'll go from there. Alrighty. Now you can press escape to cancel out of any tool. Alright, now as you can see, our metal caster and our molten channel have been built. Okay, so now that those are built, now it wants iron scrap. So let's go get some iron scrap. Now the way to get iron scrap early in the game here before we start building is to start recycling this. The abandoned communication station gives you your starting resources, but in a clever way to collect them. So as you can see here, there's 2016 units of iron scrap, 1350 of cement blocks, and 300 electronic units. So now that we've initiated that recycling, these trucks are headed off to go get the iron scrap and bring it back up here to our blast furnace. One of the cool things about the weather in this game is, as you can see, it was just raining and now the sun's come out, but that rain will replenish the groundwater resources that we saw just a minute ago when we were in the layers selecting where we were going to move our settlement to. So let's take, now while those trucks do that, let's take a look at our research menu. Alright, so here we have the first thing here that we should get done right away is farming. This unlocks your farm and potatoes as a crop. This way you can keep your citizens in your settlement fed. Next thing I would recommend is the construction research. So this unlocks the assembly building. There are many levels to the assembly building, so it can be upgraded many times over. But this is probably by far one of the most important buildings in the entire game, besides storage buildings. So we'll add that to our queue. And now as you can see, the power and maintenance popped up as a selectable research. That's because this is in the queue. So I could click on power and maintenance and I could add it to the queue. For now we won't. But we will add vehicles and mining. So this will unlocks the excavator, the vehicles depot. It technically unlocks the pickup and the tree harvester. And what it does is it just allows you to build more. As you can see up here, we have 9 vehicles, but we have a limit of 50 vehicles that we can be owned. Now, further research tasks will increase that number from 50. So we're going to add that to the queue. And as you can see here, new recipes are unlocked by researching this. So now we'll have the ability to refine iron ore. And in addition to being able to refine, in addition to the recipe here is the output of slag. Now, slag is something very important that you want to ensure that you are hauling away from the blast furnace, as it can cause the entire blast furnace to stop if it builds up too much, and then your storage of iron bars can go down and can spell a temporary disaster for your settlement, which is not something we want. Now down here in a new recipe unlock for the assembly is iron and mechanical parts combined with electronic parts makes vehicle parts. Now vehicle parts are used to make the small excavator and pickup. Alright, press escape to close that. Alright, now we can see that our blast furnace and our metal caster are in full swing. Now we need somewhere to store this iron, otherwise the metal caster will stop producing. So we come over. But at this point in the game, we don't have anything unlocked for storage. So if we go back to our research tab, so here is, this unlocks your first level loose storage. So this will be used for, as you can see down here, supported. Those are the supported products that are currently unlocked. As you unlock more things, if it categorizes as a loose storage, it will be a supported product in there. Trading dock. So the trading dock also unlocks the unit storage, so we need to add that to our queue so that it will be completed. In fact, we're actually going to remove the vehicles and mining from the queue to bump up that trading dock, and then we'll add the vehicles and mining back in. Alrighty. Escape will back you out and close any window all the way onto the pause menu. Well, until we have that storage unlocked, something we can do to help keep these trucks a little busy is if we click on our trucks here, we click on what can be dumped, we'll close out all of these for now, and we will add. Oh, won't let you do the scrap. All right, then we're going to have to wait then until we can get a loose storage, and then we can store our iron scrap that way. Let's see, has our harvester moved up here and started working yet? Well, doesn't look like it. Is he still down here then? Ah, yeah, there he is. All right, let's give him another truck. That'll help move things along a little faster. As you can see here, the farm is almost done researching. So, for future reference, we're going to, down the road, we will unlock a groundwater pump. So we're going to want to build our farms in advance next to the groundwater resources. So we have a big one right here in the middle, but we're not going to put it there because, again, this is going to be a big industrial hub down here by the shipping dock, or by the shipyard. So we're going to want to put it somewhere still accessible, but a little bit off to the side so that we're not interfering with what will become the industrial heart up here. So we're going to build them back here by this sandbank and these trees. So that's where we're going to build it. So we'll close out of that layer view. So we're almost there. Tree harvester cannot reach destination. Oh, that's right. Can't get up there yet. So that's going to have to wait. And I will show you guys how we're going to deal with that. So we'll just leave that selected, but we'll just close that. So that'll just, the tree harvester is just going to have to wait for a minute. Alright, as you can see, construction is running. As soon as we get the vehicles in mining, we'll be able to create a ramp for the harvester to get up there and remove those trees so we can move the settlement up there. But in the meantime, let's remove some of the trees right around this water source to make room for our farms and expanding the farms. Okay, close out of that. Alrighty, so what we're going to actually do, though, so that it doesn't get confused, is we're going to right-click, and that'll give us a red square, and that's how we can remove the request to harvest in that area. So as you can see, now the tree harvester is on the move to the other area we just selected. Alright, so now that the farming is done, as you can see here, food production tab was added into the menu bar. And there's the farm. So you can see here we've got, it says the terrain's in the way, but here, if we zoom in a little bit, you can see the outputs for product. It's got a loose material and a solid material outputs. Or flat, so things like, so anything that would go on a flat conveyor line, it has an output for that, and anything that goes on the U-shaped conveyor line, which is the loose material, will go on that. So because of that in mind, and we'll probably have using storages, we're going to want to rotate the farm so that that part is pointing out. The other factor is that when we upgrade the farm to level 2, there will be a water input on the opposite side, and with the water resource being more towards the back of it, we want the back facing it. We'll go ahead and place the first farm right there, and now the trucks are going to go and bring that material. As you can see, there they go. And this over here is letting you know that the research was completed. Because as you get going, research will get completed and you won't even notice it. And so it gives you that alert right there to tell you, hey, that research is actually done. Alright, as you can see here, the harvester and its 2 trucks are starting to remove that. You'll get this full output warning. So as you can see, when it takes in 8 molten iron, it produces 8 iron. However, it can only store so much within itself. and so it can only store 64, and so it's got a full output, so it won't accept any more molten iron in it. And here we have a full output as well of molten iron. It can only take in 15, and so everything's just kind of at a standstill right now till we can unlock some storage to move that iron into, and then the system will just keep on keeping on. So you can see up here we have a food supply that will last us 27 months. That will fluctuate quite often, especially as your population grows. It takes more food to keep that, but you want to keep this number as high as humanly possible. Once this farm gets going, we're going to see this number spike into the 90 months and more. But it's pretty hard to obtain 90 months and more as your settlement gets bigger and bigger. So that's part of the building process. You see all these. So this part of the process happens as material is delivered. It goes up layer by layer for the building, and then it just comes down. Now, farm's built. So another good point of building it in this area is it will pull up water naturally from what's in the soil. So you can see here it's got soil water. It's dropping a little bit because it's drawing it in for the plants. So the farm just kind of takes care of itself for right now, but as we get farther along, we'll be able to choose different crops to grow, and those crops will be used in different recipes for different food resources. So now let's take a look at the world map and exploring. Let's see our ship. Oh, ship has to be repaired first. I forgot about that part. Well, and before we can repair the ship, we got to repair the shipyard. But we have to research, so we'll get into that then a little bit later. But to give you a look at what the world map looks like, that's our world map. So this is our first little settlement that we'll see, and when we're get the shipyard repaired and everything, we'll be able to do trades for basic resources. So if we get a surplus of wood, but we're short on concrete slabs, we can trade that using our unity, which I explained in the first episode. But essentially, it is the unity is the happiness of your settlement. So the more you meet your settlement's needs, the more unity you get, and the more flexible it is with you doing these trades and stuff and spending it. So we'll press escape to get out of that. All right. As we can see, the construction just finished. And so the assembly building manual, or essentially assembly level 1, was researched, and that added the general machines tab to our menu bar. So as you can see here, the recipes available are to make construction parts, which are used for building just about everything. And as we get farther in the game, there'll be level 2, level 3, and level 4 construction parts. We can use iron to build mechanical parts, and we can use rubber and copper to make electronics. Now we'll get into copper in a little bit. Let's go ahead and build a couple of these so that we can start making some mechanical parts, because those are very important. So for convenience sake, we're going to keep these pretty close to our blast furnace up here, but we're going to give a little room for future storage units that we're going to put in here to hold the surplus of iron and other minerals or materials coming in, so that it's not as dependent on the trucks delivering it constantly. So now it has 3 inputs and 1 output. So we're going to face the inputs towards our blast furnace and our future storage sites. And then we're going to press and hold shift. And when we click on it, it gives us the ability to build another one without having to go back into the menu. So we're going to build 2 side by side. You can see here now, we get this symbol when they have nowhere to deliver the wood to, and so they are full. Pickup cannot deliver wood, no valid destination. So we'll just leave them be for right now. Soon as these are built and we start taking iron out of the metal caster and this system starts running again, we're going to remove coal from the coal maker, which will then allow more wood to be inputted. Alrighty, now we get a notice up here saying that no recipe has been selected. Now you can select a recipe before or after it's been built. Some buildings, if they start out with only one recipe, it will default select that recipe. Whereas the assembly building starts out with 3, it has you select your recipe, and you can switch between recipes very easily just by opening up the assembly window. So we're going to click the mechanical parts. And then this one, before it's even built, we're going to hit the mechanical parts. Actually, you know what, let's do construction parts on this one. Get rid of the mechanical parts there so that they'll both be producing useful material for us. So this will use wood from the tree harvester and the concrete slabs from the ship and from the communications tower that we are recycling. Alright, we got a message about assembly. So now we can start producing construction parts to build more machines and buildings, but don't forget to scale up our iron production to cope with demand. It's very true. It's very easy for the demand to outweigh production, and it can cause some panic in trying to increase that production. So as I will guide you through in this beginner's guide for the game, we will take the necessary steps in advance to help curb the sudden rush of trying to meet a demand in order to keep everything running smoothly. As we progress, it'll get more critical to keep things running smoothly as we get into like nuclear power. And yes, you can have meltdowns. I've had a few. But no, it doesn't blow anything up. Alright, you can see here now, these trucks are starting to bring in wood to this building that's going to use it to make construction parts. He's going to be bringing in concrete slabs, and he's grabbed, well, a little late clicking on him, but he was grabbing iron, as you can see here, 20 iron, to make the construction parts. As you can see now, the metal caster is back into full function. It's starting to cast more of that molten iron. And now that the molten iron has started to move out, the blast furnace has started to process more molten iron, and shortly we're going to see the coal maker kick off. Alright guys, that's where we're going to wrap up this episode on our beginner's guide to Captain of Industry. As you can see here, we'll get into this in the next episode, but the waste is starting to build up a little bit, so we're going to want to take care of that. And we'll go into that in the next episode. And until then, remember to like and subscribe and share this content with your friends. And it's been an honor being with you today to walk you through this game. Again, my name is Frontrunner, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great day.